If you give me the next 45 days, I'll help you walk into 2026 already living the goals that most people just are thinking about and starting to write down come January. In this video, I'm giving you the exact 3-step plan. Yes, it's really that simple, just 3 easy steps, a free tracker, and a once a week ritual that will help you keep from falling off by week 2. So step 1 is to commit. If you guys are new here, my name is Jess. I'm a mom and I love a good reset. I love some goal setting and I love just staying in touch with what I'm trying to achieve in life. Having goals is great and all, but if you don't actually commit to them and making them come to fruition, then the reality is you may never act on them. So write this down with me. I commit to myself for the next 45 days. And for a little extra accountability, comment the word commit down in the comments box below. Physical action, like physically writing it down on a piece of paper, plus public action, like commenting it publicly on this video, makes your chances of follow through way more likely. If you've ever noticed that you're way more likely to follow through with a goal once you've told people about it, this is exactly what that's doing. So step 1 is to commit. Now, hopefully you've decided that you're gonna commit to this 45-day plan. So let's move on to step 2. It's coming up with your 3 North Star goals. And in order to do that, we're gonna have a little bit of a brain dump. So I want you to take a few minutes to sit down and think about every habit, every goal, every routine, every money target, every content idea that you might have, and write it all down on a piece of paper. In fact, even pause this video right here and take a few minutes to actually think about it. I wrote down things like getting to the gym every single day, even if I'm just walking, stretching, or even spending time working in the gym cafe, cutting back on my sugar consumption, prenatal stretches once per day, practicing deep breathing and visualization. So these are just a few ideas for me and my goals. Of course, yours could look completely different. Not everyone's going to be pregnant, mom. So come up with the goals that are most relevant to you and just brain dump it all. From there, we're actually going to collapse it into kind of 3 categories. And I actually recommend leveraging ChatGPT to help you with this. So you can use this ChatGPT prompt, group this list into 3 North Star goals. Place every habit and routine under the goal it supports. Return as a sample table. You could also just take an image. If you're handwriting down your goals, you can take an image and put that right into ChatGPT with the prompt. For me, my 3 North Star goals are going to be growing my income, which is through digital products and YouTube, simplify my systems, which is going to be really focused on my home life as well as my routines personally and within work. And my last one is protecting my energy, which is going to come from things like sleep, movement, exercise, breathing, etc. Remember, yours could be anything like grades, job search, wedding planning. Really, it just depends on whatever phase you're in life. This is just relevant for me. I recommend keeping it to 3 main North Star goals to help you really drive in your focus. Instead of having, a wide variety of ideas and goals, then this will actually help you kind of narrow down your focus. So step 3, of course, is going to be taking action on our goals. Now, let's talk for a second about why people often fall off on their goal setting. It's because we try to jump in on every single goal, every single initiative on week 1, go, balls to the wall, and realistically, that's not sustainable long term when we're trying to actually change our lifestyle for the better. Instead, we need to break it down into more of a staircase, a single step at a time. So in order to do that, for taking action, I'm going to actually break this into 3 phases. So phase 1 is reset. This is going to be days 1 through 14. Phase 2 is going to be building momentum. This is going to be days 15 through 30. And phase 3 is going to be thrive and refine. So days 31 through 45. And altogether, that's going to give us our 45-day roadmap. So let's talk about phase 1, which is our reset phase. It's about clearing space for what actually matters for your goals. It is not about doing everything under the sun. And remember, you have 2 full weeks to do this, so not everything needs to be done in a single day. So here's how we're going to do this. The first thing to do is to declutter your inputs. This is a critical step, so please do not skip it. I personally like to start with a deep clean around the house. The space that you're physically in, your environment, really has a strong impact on your mindset and your motivation. So cleaning your house is just one example, but some other ways that you can do this is to unfollow some accounts on social media that maybe don't align with your goals. Maybe clean up the digital files in your storage system on your computer just to kind of give you that fresh, clean slate. The next thing that we're going to do within this 15-day period is prepping your environment. Maybe it's that you invest in some food storage containers so that you're more motivated to meal prep. Maybe it is laying out your gym clothes so that you are more motivated to go to the gym. For me, one of my goals is to get to the gym pretty much every day. And in order to do that, I need to be completely ready to walk out the door like the second my child wakes up. Because once she wakes up, I need to
get her fed, get her dressed, get her, clean diapers and all of that stuff.
So I try to pre-prepare going to the gym to basically make my time more efficient and kind of just make it a natural part of my routine. The next step here is to actually audit your money. So I think this is really important and smart to do, even if you don't really have a ton of financial goals. But I think everyone should have some nice financial goals because it's always great to plan for your future. What I recommend doing is starting to track every single dollar in and out. It doesn't have to be through a fancy budget tracker. I literally just started making Excel spreadsheet where I track every single expense coming in and out of our bank account. It is very manual, but it also helps me see exactly where our money is going. This is just going to really help you understand if there's anywhere that you can tighten your budget. Again, maybe you didn't have necessarily a savings goal or something like that, but this could help you achieve some other things that you might have on your list, such as booking a vacation or investing in new gym clothes or things like that. And then lastly, within this first phase, we're going to create a new baseline routine. So I recommend just starting out with one morning habit and one nighttime habit. For example, your morning habit could be you start adding in just one thing like journaling every morning while you drink your coffee, or maybe it's going for a walk first thing when you wake up. If it's your evening routine, maybe it is doing a little bit of reading before bed instead of TikTok or Instagram, or maybe it's doing a bit of a stretching routine. Again, these are examples relevant to my own personal goals, but just to give you an idea, it's just adding one simple action into your already existing morning or bedtime routine. For me, in order to do some of these things like make more money with YouTube, create more time freedom for myself, etc., I have made it a habit to go to the gym every single morning by like 8:30 or 9. I use the 2-hour childcare that my gym offers. I spend the first hour working on my work and then I spend the second hour exercising. So I'm actually crossing off a few things on my list by just adding in this one habit of going to the gym every single day. Efficiency is really going to be key here, and once you start to make these things a habit and part of your routine, it's just going to feel natural and truly help you change into the person that you desire to become. All right, so phase 2 within taking action is to build momentum. So this is where things get exciting because we're going to start stacking habits on top of each other, and that's how you're actually going to see results to change your life in 2026. So you're going to want to keep all of your habits from phase 1, everything that you learned, and treat what we did in phase 1 as kind of your anchor, your baseline. So next we're going to add 2 needle mover actions per goal. And again, I'm thinking primarily about my North Star bigger picture goals. So for example, for me, I have my first one, which was my income. So a needle mover for that one would be publishing one product or service, posting a video or email that drives to it, and review performance weekly. For systems, it could be blocking 2 CEO hours weekly, which could be time that I primarily just use for planning and thinking about how I can grow rather than doing things like filming or writing scripts. For energy, it could be scheduling just one activity, maybe a yoga session, a walk with a friend, or a meditation time. Halfway through this phase, I actually recommend taking a pause and doing a little bit of reflecting. Ask yourself what's working, what's not working, what feels forced, and then make slight adjustments. Momentum is not necessarily about doing more, it's about doing what feels right and is actually moving you towards your goals. In this phase, you're definitely going to feel a little bit of resistance. Your old self is coming back to say,
no, I don't like these new habits. I want to be lazy on the couch in the evenings.
But you're going to need to fight it and stick to your new habits and push through, because by day 30, you're going to be amazed at how automatic things feel. All right, and finally moving on to phase 3 within this taking action step. So that is thrive and refine. So you've made it to day 31 through 45 because you've built consistency. Things may not be perfect, but they are starting to feel like more habitual and more like your routine and more like a new self. Phase 3 is really about tightening what works, letting go of what doesn't, and celebrating how far you've actually come in the first 30 days. All right, so here is what your focus is going to be on. First, refine. Review your tracker and highlight 3 habits that you feel actually led to results. You're going to want to focus on doubling down on those in the next round. Then you're going to cut a habit or goal that just didn't feel aligned or drained you, added stress. Let it go. We'll try that again in the future one day. Then you're going to celebrate any wins that you had during this phase. So write down 3 measurable improvements that you saw. Maybe it was that you made $200. Maybe it's that you slept better. You created something new. Acknowledge it. celebrate it. And by the way, celebrating small wins is not just feel-good advice, it's actually neuroscience. I was doing a little bit of research on this because I find it so interesting. Every time you acknowledge progress in your life, your brain actually releases dopamine. And dopamine is sort of a motivation chemical that reinforces the behavior to continue to do it. In fact, if you were curious about why we get so addicted to doom scrolling on TikTok, it's for the same reason, because it releases dopamine and it continues this habit of wanting to feel that happiness type of hormone that gets released from watching a satisfying video. Research from Stanford's Behavior Design Lab shows that positive emotion, not willpower, surprisingly, is what actually wires new habits. I bring this up to say that when you actually take a second to celebrate wins, celebrate positive things that have happened, you're literally training your brain to crave consistency and to continue to feed into these positive habits. And then the last step within this phase is to plan your next 45-day cycle with new visions, bigger goals, more habits stacked on top of something that is already working really well for you. And by combining all of these things, this is how we're going to enter 2026 super strong. Imagine coming into January with these systems and plans and actions already built. No scrambling, no guilt, just momentum. And by the way, if you're watching this in January of 2026, you can start this now. There's no shame in starting today, just start. All right, and as promised, I wanted to give you a bonus tip, and I think it's really gonna help you stay consistent during this 45-day challenge. And I call it winning the week. I like to do this on Sundays. You really only need about 30 minutes to do this, so even if you have kids or just live a busy lifestyle, it should be possible and doable for you. So first, take a few minutes just reflecting. Open your goal tracker and ask, what did I actually accomplish this week? Don't judge yourself, just be honest, and again, celebrate anything that did go well. On that topic, the second step is celebrating. This week I followed through on blank and it felt good because blank reward the effort, not just the result. The third thing you're gonna do during this weekly touch base with yourself is identifying any friction. So if something keeps slipping, maybe it's your workouts or maybe it's touching base with your budget. Are you trying to do it too early? Are you trying to do it too late? Is it too complicated, too many steps? And from there, you can adjust your system. And then lastly, you're gonna just plan your next week. So look at your calendar and see if there's anywhere that you can plug in these goals and habits that you have. Remember to focus on the top needle drivers. You don't need to plan something for every single goal that you have, but maybe it's just that on Monday, you're going to create one digital product. On Wednesday, you're gonna go for a walk with a friend. Remember that if you haven't scheduled it by Sunday, it's probably not gonna happen on Wednesday. So take these few minutes at the beginning of the week and plan your week ahead so that you are fully prepared to kick ass that week. All right, and lastly, I just wanted to mention that I've created a little freebie for you guys. It is a goal tracker. It's a downloadable PDF. You'll want to actually probably print it and you can fill it out manually, writing things in. But I will have that pinned in the top comment as well as my description box if you want to check that out. Hopefully it just helps you get ready for this 45-day challenge. The reality is that most people are waiting for the calendar to give them permission to change, to make their lives better. But if you start this off today, then you are just taking your life into your own hands and not waiting for tomorrow in order to change your life. This plan isn't just about staying productive. It's about proving to yourself that small, consistent actions actually help you become the person that you want to be. And they show you that you can even build momentum when life is crazy, when life is chaotic, or when you just don't feel ready. So here's your next move. Go download the tracker in my description box. Remember to comment, commit. Maybe you even add one habit that you're going to start adding in today, and block off 30 minutes for your Sunday win the week ritual. By the way, if you love this type of content, motivational, life-changing, money-making type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you in the next one.